Okay, so if you've come to this video, you're probably buying a wheelchair taxi in Ireland, or you're going through the process of putting an application form together. So before you do this, you need to know you need a tax clearance certificate. You will have to show your driver's history, showing no endorsements and showing your penalty points. You will also have to pass a vetting, Garda vetting, show you've no criminal record. What I do find hilarious is there is no requirements on your full license. You could have got it yesterday and you'd still qualify to be a taxi driver. I mean, you could technically be required to put a novice sign on the back of your window in your taxi because there is no restriction on how long you've had your driving license. But there is a restriction on when you can actually sit beside a learner driver, like even your daughter or your son, and give them driving lessons. You're restricted. You must have your driving license at least 2 years before you give anyone a driving lesson. Yet you can technically drive a taxi with 8 people with a novice sign on the back window, which is ridiculous. Anyway, I don't care. Let's go on. Okay, so regulations were changed a couple of years ago, which meant anyone new into the industry has to buy a wheelchair accessible plate. You are obliged to look after the needs of disabled people, while those in the industry previously have no obligation whatsoever to look after anyone's needs, and least of all people with disabilities. I made a huge mistake of not looking for the full loan. I decided I would look for €17,000 from the credit union, and I would rely on the grant from the NTA, which would have saved me €200 a month over a 3-year period. So I thought I was doing a good thing, but 2 months into the process and I still have no taxi plate. The NTA are incredibly slow. Incredibly. I wonder if they were dealing with their own income and their own jobs, would they be as slow to other people? The whole process is going on for months now. From when I purchased the vehicle to when I got my first NCT to then get the suitability test, I'm after paying for 2 months insurance and I still have no car because I made the mistake of not taking out the full loan. I told the garage that I would only take out the car from the garage when I got the grant from the government. After 1.5 weeks of sending my application form in, I got an email to say, we now invite you to send in your application form, and they sent me out a copy, which I had already done and already sent in to them. I had to ring them, spend hours on the phone, and then they found my application. But still, we're 3 or 4 weeks later and I still have no grant. I still have no taxi. I'm still off the road. My kids are going back to school next week and I still have no job. They don't care. Unfortunately, you can't ring up complaining because you don't know what will happen then. You could be waiting even longer. It is a very complicated process. The bureaucracy is crazy. You have to have technical reports in your vehicle to show that it's suitable as a wheelchair accessible vehicle. You also will have to do stuff like look at the tint on your car. I mean, if a tint is not of the manufactured tint, I'm talking about the blackness of your window, they will not pass your car. Usually the tint has a V sign on it if it's not suitable for a taxi. Normally your car has to be transparent enough that the police or the public can see into your vehicle. Because it's such a complicated and stressful process, I would recommend that you go through a company. There are 2 companies at least that if you buy the vehicle off them, they will take care of the whole process. They will fill out the application forms. They will do the technical report on the vehicle. They will actually put the meter in the vehicle, the stickers on the vehicle, and you will get that car. Well, unlike me, if you paid in full, you will get that car as soon as it passes the suitability test. You can drive it out of the garage yard and you're ready to pick up. You're ready to go into business. But me, being stupid, thinking the grant would only take a couple of days because they already had my information. They already had the information like I was tax compliant, no criminal convictions, no driver history, no bad driver's history. So they already had this because they needed this for the suitability test. Otherwise they couldn't have passed my car. But I assumed that having all of this stuff, it would only take a couple of days for the WAV grant, the WAV application process to go through. But I was badly mistaken. These people are slow. Incredibly slow. I asked them for a rough idea. Nope, we don't give you a rough idea. You will be notified when your application form is ready. So you're at the mercy of these people. You can't complain. You can't give out to them. God knows when you get your taxi. So if I had to recommend a company you would go through, it would be Wheelchair Cars Ireland. They were incredibly good to me. But having said that, you can't haggle with these people because there's only a couple of these companies in the market. They have it really sewn up. So you're kind of going to pay what they ask for. But having said that, they were very good to me and they got the car done very quickly. They did everything, the paperwork for me. I couldn't complain. And the fact that they have the market to themselves is not their fault. I do it myself. You can't really complain. Another thing is I was quoted stupid prices for insurance for the taxi. $5,500. Now I'm a taxi driver since 1992, and I left the industry a few years ago, and I have a full no claims history on my private car. I have no convictions, no penalty points whatsoever. And I was still getting quotes like $5,500. Two companies said they didn't quote any drivers that didn't have at least 2 years taxi history. And another company quoted me €2,500. But the best quote came from, and I'd recommend you ring him, is Zego. I never heard of them before. But they offered me the best quote, which was €1,600. Zego. Okay, so if you have any questions or anything else you need to know, just put your question in the comment section below and I'll see if I can answer it.